You talk about gangs, you talk about lack of investment, you talk about the criminal justice system. We read in every single newspaper today this gender ideology story, that kids can now go to school, excuse me while I try and control myself, right? Just think of Olivia 9. Children the same age can go to school and tell a teacher or be talked to by a teacher and say, I want to change gender, Alex Phillips, and the teachers or the school don't have to tell us, the bloody parents. What is wrong with this world? How does that work?
OK, so basically it's child abuse, nothing short of child abuse. And actually, when you look at this mad trans trend that's gripping the West, you have to follow the money on this. There are techno-medical big companies, there's Silicon Valley, who are forcibly pushing this onto children. Most activism, when people want to defend rights or so on and so forth, comes from grassroots up. This is not doing this. This isn't from the public all getting together going, these people are persecuted, so on and so forth. This is coming from the top down. So you have to ask why. What is in it for people to try and coerce children via social media to start completely dissociating with their bodies? I mean, if you have a child who decides they're gender dysphoric and then follows through and has surgery, they essentially have a lifetime of pharmaceutical and medical care ahead of them. And there's disassociation from the body as well, makes people, it avatarizes a population. It makes them far more malleable and able to be used as a product in social media. And it's really quite sinister. And anyone out there who thinks that this is just a nice, friendly movement and, oh, you know, trans people were always in vast numbers.
Can I give you an example, Rebecca, because I want to bring you in, and I'm not an expert, but one of my daughters, who's now 17, told me 6 months ago that of the 30 kids in the first year, so aged 11 at her school, right, within 6 weeks of the first term happening, 11 of them were seeing a school psychologist because they weren't sure about their gender. Now, without disrespecting anybody, because I have done enough over the years to understand that there are people born into the wrong body and we should absolutely respect them as a community and a society and we should help them. But it says something, does it not, right? That 33.33% of my daughter's year are questioning their gender. That has to come from, I'm not saying a movement, from the press, from media, from social media. That is a concern. And the fact that you as a parent cannot be told that, what the hell's that about?
I mean, I think actually it's about, you know, finally we're having a conversation. We have a lexicon that young people can use to understand those feelings. It's an incredibly confusing time being a teenager. And so then if you do think maybe you're gender dysphoric or you're not certain about your sexuality or the gender that you're in or the body that you're in, I think, thank goodness, we actually finally are having conversations and we're empowering young people to understand what those feelings are.
Are we empowering them or are we showing them a way forward?
But not talking about it doesn't make it go away. Trans is not a trend. It's been around for as long as we have.
But not on the scale that we're currently seeing, actually. Right. And that's the key thing here. I mean, Jonathan Haidt has a piece in the New Statesman today about self-harm and depression in young children. We used to talk a lot in this country about how young boys were killing themselves in large numbers. Across the West, actually, that trend has reversed. It's back to girls who are self-harming. And that is spread by things like social media. But the key thing here is it's spread mimetically. Once one person starts displaying the behaviours, the traits, others are more likely to pick up on it, and it happens. And we don't like to think of mental health as being contagious, but actually poor mental health has been shown to be contagious in these situations. This, I think, is a similar thing.
And I think
we want to be nice and tolerant to people, but it's not the same as being gay or bisexual or lesbian. It is about identity rather than orientation.
And I think Rebecca has a very good point, but my issue is that apart from being able to talk about it, have a forum, being open, and the genuine people I talked about, I want somebody to explain to me how many of these kids, whether people like this or not, are being dragged into this ideology. I'm not blaming teachers or schools, but it frightens the bits off me as a parent that this could be going on without my knowledge. Now, you might say to me, well, any good parent would know what's going on.
No, I don't think that at all, but I think that, you know, for lots of children who aren't fortunate enough to have you as a parent or come from the kind of families that we came from, you know, exploring that at home could be the matter of life and death. It It could be being expelled from the family. So we need children and young people to have a safe space to explore this. And school is a very obvious place for that to happen. So it's not keeping a secret from parents. It's about protecting children.
Don't you think the school should tell the parents?
No, not necessarily, because you don't know what will happen to those children.
Don't agree at all, sorry.
It is not the role of the state.
But they're not
actually
forcing
to be the
puberty
parent.
blockers down their throats.
No, it's not. But you know what children are? I've got to be honest. Like you said, that it's a good thing that children have, opportunities to express themselves. I'm sorry to be blunt. Children are not very clever. They are in education because they are not yet at the stage where they can make informed decisions. They have not been exposed to the wealth of things on offer in the world. That is why they do actually need a little bit of corralling.
We need to empower our teachers to understand how to do this. I'm not
so you want to empower
you
the teacher?
doing it or me doing it.
Like, what else do teachers have to do? They already have to teach X, Y, Z. They also have to effectively act as crowd control.
And they have to strike quite a lot as well.
That would help.
You just look at the statistics on this. Gender dysphoria has always, throughout history, occurred in about 0.3% of the population. When you've got 30% in a school...
But that's a fact, the number I gave you.
This is becoming a mass hysteria.
And I don't know how to put it into the right words without somebody jumping up and down. Does that mean 11 girls out of 30, whatever it was, A did it because B did it because C did it, or have 11 suddenly gone? By the way, I'm concerned you've got to assume that this has become a bit of a sort of, I don't know the right word.
This is why it's important there are professionals in schools who understand how to have those conversations. Could it be
Are there?
But that's why it's important. We can't ignore this. We can't Section 28 away trans children.
This is another part of the problem. As you said at the top of the
I want my school to tell me if my kids... I would absolutely want to know.
I think that's perfectly justified.
But they have to safeguard the children as well. Not every parent will have the same response as you.
You're saying you need to safeguard the children, but therefore you're assuming, actually, that all the parents would necessarily be opposed, that all the parents are a danger. You can't go down that road.
No, but you can't jeopardise the safety of some children.
It's not jeopardising their safety.
I fundamentally have an issue with the concept of a trans child. Trans adult, yes. Trans child, no. That is just wrong. You grow up in life, you might question things, your orientation, your identity, whatever it may be. Teenagers are going through, they've got plastic minds and they're going through all of this exploration. But to decide that you are in a different body from the one you want to be in is an adult decision. And forcing this ideology onto children...
I'm going to disagree with you quickly, and I haven't got much longer. I suspect that at that moment in your life, that is the time that you are beginning to explore all sorts of things. All I started this for tonight was to say a 9-year-old can be murdered in her own home, and schools can find out stuff about your kids without actually thinking, I should include the parents, their input is really important. And I found the word, thank you, Ollie and May, it's a trend. It just worries me. That is nothing to do with the genuine people who live in the wrong body. The greatest of respect from now till the end of my life. But I worry about that trend. Benedict Spence, Rebecca, Alex, for the 800th time this week. Thank you very much indeed.